and we'll see how the wheel goes. It should be okay. And if there's anything like you want to just see how to make, just let me know, because we could probably figure out, whatever. So feel free to throw out suggestions. We brought some examples of things that we'll kind of demonstrate, and I'll bring some of those over here. So we'll start with the hand building stuff.
I'm just getting stuff ready. This one here is
okay.
ready if you want to do that.
Okay, so we'll start with. Yeah.
Okay.
Garrett was my first teacher.
Yeah, so we just figured out today that I started teaching Char 33 years ago.
92, yeah.
Yeah, I was 12.
So I taught at the Irvine Art Center for 16 years, and then I started teaching at Aardvark, and I was kind of doing those at the same time for a while. And I got hired at Huntington Beach High School to teach all the ceramic classes there in 2008. And so I've been there since then, teaching all the ceramic classes at the high school, which is great. So this is one of the projects we do in the school. So the kids, we looked at retro ashtrays, kind of like from the 60s. And I made sure to tell them that we're not making ashtrays, but they're going to make trays that are based on those ashtrays, but they're definitely not ashtrays. And I'll show you these. If you guys ever used underglaze transfers,
Yes.
that's what these are, and they're really cool. They come out great, so we'll talk about those. So these are super easy to make. You get a clay box and cut whatever shape you'd like in it. Yeah, there's the transfers. So we brought some of those to demonstrate. So you cut whatever shape you'd like, and we looked at pictures of these old ashtrays, and they have these really cool shapes, like they're amazing. And then take a slab that's like not really thin, but like I don't know what that would be, less than a quarter inch, maybe?
Looks like a 16th.
No.
And I found that if you get them too thin, then they sag in the high fire kiln, like this edge will sag down a little bit. So you lay it over, and you want to lay it over so you make sure that you've got some good overlap outside of the hole that you cut. And then you just take it and go boink, boink, boink.
That's it?
That's too easy.
That's too hard. Exactly. That's too hard. I cannot do it. Right.
Needle tool, let's see. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so then we'll cut this out around, kind of follow the contour.
He's a lefty.
Did someone tell you to do that?
This idea?
No, the pounding that you just did. Or did you discover it?
Almost everything now you see online, like Instagram. I'm pretty sure I saw this on Instagram. And then you see things like that, and you kind of tweak them a little to make them fit what you wanted to do. I forget what the person did on Instagram that did this box thing, but then I was thinking, oh, that'd be perfect for making like little retro trays.
You can do it with frames and stuff too.
Oh, right, yeah.
Get a frame and put it on a frame and do that and drop it.
And I used to do this technique at like the 99-cent store. They sell styrofoam rings like for hobby stuff. So same exact thing. You put a round slab on that and bounce that ring, and you get a perfect round little sag slumped hole. So then you go around and clean up the top edge of that. That's one of the things you're getting graded on. Is nice and clean edge. Another round. And then right after you make it, like at school, we have just maybe like 10 of these boxes pre-cut for the kids to use, but there's 37 kids in every class. So you can't leave it on the board or on the box. So then we'll grab wear boards. What is our wear boards doing?
Right here.
Just grab a wear board. Put it on there. And then just flip it like a cake. Pop that off. Like that. So then you'll get a leather heart from there. And so now when it's upside down, you'll go around and clean up that bottom edge like you did the top. And it's got that little pocket of air trapped in there. So it'll hold that shape. And in class, the kids will even, we have a block schedule, so the classes are like 100 minutes long. So they'll just take this and heat gun it a little bit and get it leather hard so they can put their little feet on it. And the little feet, like little cones, like that. And they can make them tall, like a little tripod, or shorter. Just and so I tell them, like, if it kind of grows out of the form, instead of just being like stuck on there, to make it grow out of the form, which we'll get this one leather hard and do it. You score and slip it on there, and then add an extra little soft coil and blend it in so it flows kind of up and out of the form like that.
So when you put the feet on, how do you make sure it will be level?
They'll put the feet on and kind of lean down and test it and put a piece of board on top. And everyone has like an iPhone with a level on it. You can put that on there and do it. But a lot of times they do flip them over and they're a little askew. You just have to like shave a little off 1 or 2 feet and get it level. So that's the little
Let me
tray.
dry that.
Sure. Thanks. Okay. That seem easy enough? There we do this.
It'll be a whole
Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna try that.
Do you want this because it's
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
You make it thinner than 1/4 inch, is it because you know you need to?
Yeah, if that slab is too thick, it won't sink down very well.
Garrett,
Yeah.
can I just say to supervisors, this means please don't tear up the clay boxes.
Save them.
So this is a little succulent planter. This cool texture on the outside. And
that's this one.
I'm not going to do that next. I'm going to show first. So we do a lot of stuff with textures using slips and sodium silicate, which I assume you guys all have sodium silicate here. Yeah. So this is the Black Mountain clay. It's got white slip on it, and then Christy put sodium silicate on it and heat gunned it just so it's kind of dry to the touch. So the sodium silicate dries to like a sugary crust, and with you can do wheel stuff. But with slab building, you can do this where you stretch it out, and it starts giving you that like tree bark.
It's like a brownie with white frosting.
Yeah, right. So if you just keep stretching it, you get this really cool. So it started out as a thick slab, and the more you stretch it, obviously it's getting thinner. And then from there, you could say, okay, that's my basis of whatever I'm going to be hand building. Then you could cut it. That could be the basis of a mug.
The stuff doesn't come off on your hands?
No, it's dried, so it's a cheap candy.
That's so neat.
So that could be like, started on a mug or something like that. The more you stretch it, the more it exposes more of the black clay.
Would it work with white clay with the black slip?
Yes. You can use white clay with black slip. You could use underglazes. Sounds like you have to pay for now. Yeah, you can take your slip and add mason stains to it, you know, all different, just contrasting colored things.
Could you explain more about sodium silicate for us who are not familiar?
Yeah, so sodium silicate is,
It should be right in there.
it's you buy it at Aardvark, it's a liquid, and it's essentially liquid glass. So when it dries, and also when you use it, you have to clean your brush quickly before it dries, because it'll just turn into a hard glassy surface on your brush. Same with, like, if you're using it on the wheel, when it gets on your bat, you want to clean it off your bat because it dries really, really hard. The more you dry it, the more it makes like a hard crust on the outside. So it's breaking as the clay stretches underneath it, because the clay underneath it is soft, but that skin is hard, and so it breaks and pulls your slip across apart. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so that would be a cool basis, like a little cup or something. You could make a handle that looks like a tree branch on there. This. So this is the basis of these planters. So I'm going to start with a solid block of clay and add texture to it. So the texture is going to be just this. And you can play around with the texture going horizontally or vertically or diagonally or a combination, but you just want a nice deep texture on a solid chunk of clay. And I'm using black clay, but this works with any kind of clay. This was like a Long Beach. And then I'm going to draw on top of here, kind of where I want my opening to be. That. And then it's a matter of, you're going to push this out. Oh, but first I'm going to put sodium silicate on this now, because that's going to encourage that breaking.
Do you want slip on it also?
No, I'll just do
Okay.
So from here, you definitely want it on a board. You take your sodium silicate, and brush it on there. And it doesn't have to be thick, just so it gets a layer on there. And like when the sodium silicate's wet, if I stretch it, it's not going to do anything, because the sodium silicate's not dry enough to encourage that surface to crack apart.
So one coat is sufficient?
One coat's all you need, yeah. If you're into succulents, they look super cool growing out of these planters like this.
Try that, and you can put feet on
Oh.
this.
Okay. I'm gonna rinse this out. Is there a towel? Normally I just wipe them
How's your back feeling?
Rock.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Are you teaching now?
At the high school? Yes, yeah, I'm in my 19th year. I teach all the ceramic classes there. I have 37 kids in a class, and then Chrissy and I teach night classes there also for adults. The Huntington Beach Adult School has classes at night in my room, so we do Monday night and Wednesday night at high school.
I have a
Garrett,
question.
Garrett, you want
Yes.
a towel?
When the
Oh,
sodium,
yeah, thanks.
when the
Thank you.
sodium silicate dries and you're stretching it, does it go into the air and is it toxic to breathe?
Not at all, no.
Okay,
And it just burns away in the kiln like it's good.
okay. Thank you.
And you also use broken glass?
To do like that? Like broken glass in the kiln is just going to turn to water and melt right off. So it wouldn't do that type of thing. Like we have,
So it's like a salty consistency.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's almost like a salt water that dries.
Sodium is
Right.
salt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and silicate is glass.
Salty
It
glass.
melts at a different temperature, a lower temperature.
Yeah, it just burns away at a really low temperature. But it does stay, it survives the firing because it's got silica in it. And so it does give you a little bit of like a little sheen to your piece when it's fired. And the broken glass thing, we use that like on these trays. Some kids fired them, you glaze it, and then you put the broken glass in here, and it cools in the middle. It's like that crackly, like if you ever melted marbles in your piece, it makes your piece not food safe because it has a crackly surface on the inside. But if it's something decorative, it does a really cool technique where they melt and spread across, and then when it cools, you have this kind of crackly, water-looking kind of surface. Like I had a kid do like a pond with koi fish swimming through it, like you're looking from above, and you're looking at the top of all the fish, and then they melted these blue marbles all around it, and it looked like the fish were swimming through this crackly glass. Okay, so a little bead on this one. This one. And ice pill. Water. And when I put the feet on this, I like to have them kind of facing outward. So they kind of like go out from the center. Do a little score and slip.
Did you make those or did your students make them?
These were my demos that I did at school for the kids. And does anyone have any things that specifically that you want to see done today? Something that you're like dying to learn how to make?
Totem pole.
Who's that? Who said that?
That's an inside.
Greg too.
We have a totem committee that is making totem poles.
Really? What kind of totem poles?
Ceramic.
Like thrown or hand built or?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, and do they tell a story? The totems?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're going to be placed around the village.
Oh, nice. We did totems and we have them on campus.
Oh.
Go there and see there.
So, as far as yours, how tall were your totems you did?
So
Out of
they're
curiosity.
like this tall.
5 feet?
Yeah. So I did, I went to Home Depot and got those cardboard tubes. They're long and I cut them into sections about this big. Like those, yeah. And then I put a piece of rebar in them and filled the tube with cement. So the rebar is now cemented into the tube. And then the totems just slide onto the rebar. Is that kind of what you guys are thinking of doing?
We need a field trip.
No, I think you're
So this is what I was talking about, like blending these in. Kind of getting that to grow out of the.
Do you have any pictures of your totems with you?
I don't. I could send some to Shar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll send them to Shar and show you guys. And some of them, like, some did a theme, like Huntington Beach theme, so there's like the pier and waves and stuff like that.
I just feel like your students are so lucky to have you.
You want to go back to high school for this?
Yes. May I?
Maybe if I went back to high school, I'd finally learn how to work with clay well.
Some think they're lucky. Some they'd rather be somewhere else.
Well, you always have those. No matter what classes.
But we have great kids in high school. They're super cool. Never a day without.
Christy, do you teach there also?
I help them teach on Monday and Wednesday nights for our adult
Adult
classes.
classes.
Yeah. I'm more the helper.
Christy is an amazing artist. She does the coolest things. And Shar actually has a picture of one of Christy's pieces that she just did. It's insane. So cool. Okay, so that's kind of the idea with that. And then that goes over hard, flips over. Well, you get the idea. It's going to flip over and do that. And then
I can try those a bit.
okay, thanks.
This one's ready.
Oh.
Not what you want.
Okay, so that you just want that sodium silicate dry to the touch. And now I'm just going to use my fingers to just place that clay on the inside. So I'm going to take my thumb and start pushing down. See how it just starts cracking? Kind of come. So I'm kind of watching the outside and pushing outward as I come down with my thumb and looking at where I want it to push out and try not to pop all the way through it, which if you do pop through it, you just patch it from the inside. Pretty sure I saw this from a guy, I think there's a Japanese guy that does these really cool things like this. Do you guys know about kiranuki? You guys ever heard of kiranuki? It's a Japanese technique of making these really interesting textured boxes and
What's it called?
Kuranuki, Kurin-U-K-I.
That's one of the methods Scott taught us. I know it's in spring of last year. Very meditative,
Yeah.
taking away, right?
Yeah.
Using a limited amount of tools, not your standard tools.
Right.
So, yeah. It's enjoyable.
So with this, you're not removing any clay, you're just keep pushing until you get the
Yeah, so far I'm just.
thickness of the walls that
You
you
can see
want.
there's a bunch of extra clay still inside, so that'll be scooped out once I have the outside looking the way I like it.
So you could use a tool if you have too much arthritis.
Yes. And then right there in that corner, I have a hole, so I would just take some clay and go from the inside and just kind of patch that up. You never know. So you could go, okay, I like the way that crackled looks. Push a little more over here. Stretch the shape out a little bit. And then once you like the way the outside looks, then you just get a trimming tool and start scooping away the inside, and then maybe wait and get it leather hard so you can then start really refining the inside and getting it smooth with a trimming tool and scooping all that away, and then pop it up on little feet. And you get that. So the way this was glazed, this is just the Long Beach clay, and then I brushed iron oxide on the texture. This is after it's bisque fired, and then just sponge the iron oxide off, so you get some variety of like the grooves. The little nooks and crannies are darker, it's lighter on some areas. And then that's yellow salt glazed. You guys have yellow salt here?
Almost looks like gold.
What kind of clay did you say it was?
Long Beach,
Oh, Long Beach.
which is, it's probably actually, we have a putt mill at school, it's probably the recycled clay, which ends up looking like Long Beach because it's just everything.
You're making yellow salt, what is it?
It's a really nice buttery yellow glaze, where it's thinner, you get more of the iron from the clay showing through, so you get like brown on edges, but where it's thicker, it gets this nice buttery yellow surface. And it's in the John Britt glaze book, Cone 10 glaze book. It's a great book for glaze recipes. Okay, that's that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Sure. And I don't, just, I'll get a trimming tool and finish that one off. It is quite heavy.
I can do that.
We'll do the decals. Okay, we'll do the little decals on this now.
Do you want these?
You should come to school.
Garrett, could you move your water bucket for those on this side?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Back over there.
One of the things that I've been told about, if you're making any kind of a planter or a pot of sorts that's gonna have a plant in it,
Mhm.
that you really don't have to glaze the inside.
Right, yeah. And I've heard that plant roots even prefer raw clay over a glazed surface for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, you don't have to glaze the inside.
Oh, you probably retain some of the moisture better too, the
Yeah.
raw clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roots will search for the
Mhm.
moisture.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the decals, like this one has little instruments. There's a light side and a dark side. And you want to touch this with dry hands because it ruins the paper if you touch it with wet hands. So,
There's a towel right over there.
okay, thanks. I'm just going to tear some of this off just to show you. So say I want some of this in the middle there. You lay it down on your leather hard clay, and then get a damp sponge. And so there's a company called Elaine Transfers that sells these online, but they're quite expensive. But then we found, there's other ones. There's one called Sandbao, it's Sanbao, I think. That, they had more affordable decals, and there's a zillion designs. We did it for our like Halloween project, and so we got all these skulls and skeletons and stuff.
But the students hated that.
Yeah. Halloween's always a fun time at school. And then you can like start peeling it up, and if it looks like it's sticking to the paper, lay it back down, do it some more, and then. But if it's a nice soft bag of clay, it's usually okay to just do that. Okay. So, do you want me to kind of explain how I center and stuff, like as if you've never done this before? Okay.
Sure.
So, I roll my clay around to make a little cone. So when I throw it down, it makes a nice flat bottom. Find my bat. Clay and water. So I put 4 pieces, like little small pieces of clay on the outer edge. And you just want to make sure you're not putting any between the pins, so it's like not rocking on that. Put that down. And wiggle it back and forth. And then where the hole in the pin have a little gap between them, I fill that with some clay.
You're basically gluing it down there.
Gluing it down, yeah. Bang. And then I slap it into a volcano to start with. And that kind of gets going in the shape I want, but it also seals that bottom edge so no water's going to get under there.
That's where I learned that.
Really?
Does that.
Really?
I am.
And then you want to be scooted right up to the edge of your wheel. And if your left leg is shorter, you put a block of wood or something under it, because the whole key to this is your left elbow has to have leverage of your body weight behind it. And if you're out, you know, if your elbow's out here, the clay is going to be able to push you around. And I explained it as like the wheel weighs, you know, like 150 pounds or something. If you were going to try to slide the wheel across the floor, you wouldn't hold your elbow out like this and do it. You'd get your hip behind it, and you just lean into it with your hip. That's like what you're doing against the clay. So your elbow's in your belly, and you just, when you lean forward, the clay can't push you around because you've got all your body weight behind it, like that. So then while it's doing that, like at 6 o'clock, your right hand is up here at 12 o'clock, and your fingers kind of overlap. And the first teacher I had at Cal State Fullerton, he taught like squeezing this way, and I just like that seemed to not work very well for me. And then another teacher told me that if you get down in front of it and lean into it and pull back toward you, you have way more control and strength that way. So you're like, it's like this is anchored and this is pulling back into it. And then pushing down, so there's different ways to do this. You can cup your hands. Like if I'm throwing little mugs or something, I'll cup my hands like this. But I found, and actually, remember Jane Ma at the Irvine Arts Center? You know her? Oh no, not Jane Ma, Jane Nishi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jane Nishi used to teach that if you have your hand anchored here, so the clay's not doing that, and your elbow is in your belly, and you grab this thumb, your hands have no way of coming apart, you know, to be like flying all over. So you grab your thumb, your elbows are down, and then this fleshy part of this hand is pushing on top while the heel of this hand is pushing down. Like that. So see, I'm just anchored against it, and I grab my
Your
thumb.
right hand is pushing down.
My right hand's pushing down. My left hand's leaning in.
Still leaning.
Yeah, and the clay has nowhere to go.
Oh.
So I'm gonna grab that again.
We're gonna test each other.
And the mistake I see all the time, if you see a big mushroom happening like that, that's just your left hand's not leaning into it hard enough to keep that mushroom in. And also your right hand, your like karate chop hand, is too flat. You want to drop your wrist down so that's rolling over that top like that. If it starts pushing you around, you have to just get your elbow and lean into it harder. Like that. It's just that leverage.
My problem is, I want to have a big skirt that I couldn't.
Under your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like underneath.
So when you're coming down, you end up with like
Yeah.
all that down there.
Uh-huh.
So you just have to kind of stop and then get your hand down there instead of up here and lean into it down there to push that in. So the last part of your pushing down, you're on the bat and the clay can't push you around like that. And then the mistake people make when they're coning up is intuitively it seems like you're lifting the clay. So they turn their hands under and it chops it in half. So it's not that. It's more like if this was a tube of toothpaste and I'm just squeezing it and squishing it up. So you could think of it as like squeeze, 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 like that. More so than scooping and lifting, you know? Coming down. And then the other thing that's pretty common is if you make your piece really flat on top and then you go to bring it back up, it makes that hole in the middle. Yeah, volcano, yeah. So you want to make sure that the middle, the top, or the middle is always the highest point. So that's why you drop that wrist down when you're pushing down so it stays the highest point like that. And then when you bring it back up, it won't turn into that volcano. Yeah. Okay, so are all your wheels this nice? Or are they all quiet like this?
Most of them.
Except for the swearing that comes off of it. That's a different story.
We have wheels at school that just sound like rock crushers.
I don't think any of us sound like rock
Oh,
crushers.
thank you.
It's not clean, but it's dry.
Hey, he's sweeping the floor to make art, so.
That's right.
That sounds like the clothes I put on every morning. Okay, so then to put the hole in the top, drop the well. I cut my hands and I bend my thumbs, push those straight in. And all this is keeping your elbows down on your legs is super key. You want to be down like that. And then roll your hands in. And if you're throwing a really big piece, you run out of thumbs. And then you can do what I call the sea turtle. You drop the sea turtle in to go deeper. And then you check your depth with your needle tool, which is over there, but you drop it in, pull it out, so you can see how thick it is. So that's like the clay there, you know it's there. So if I'm making like a bowl, I want to leave a good at least a half an inch at the bottom so I can trim a nice foot into it. If I'm making a vase, I can go much thinner, just like a 3/8 or even less. Because I'm not going to trim the bottom of the vase, I'll just leave it flat. So then I do the sea turtle and pull my fingers toward me, and it's not pulling your arms, your elbows are down, and I'm just stretching my fingers toward me. Coming straight across. And again, if it's a bowl, I would let my fingers come up, but for a vase, I want it to just come straight across. Compress my floor down. And at the end of my sea turtle, I undercut the wall, because like your vases are always heavy at the bottom, right? So this is the first step to getting that clay up, is when you do it, you're coming across and then give it an undercut. So now when I go in to do my first pull, I've got this clay that's already pushed in, as opposed to having, like, if that's your wall and that's your floor, as opposed to having a lot of that down there, it's already like tucked in for me to pull up.
See, I do that and I thought I was doing it wrong.
And then I'm going to get down here, so my left hand's on it, like I'm just feeling how thick it is. I put my sponge down here, which anchors my two thumbs together. My elbows are down. And your first pull is almost 100% pushing with your sponge. My inside hand's not really doing anything. Because I want it all going up into that volcano shape. Like that. feel your walls again. And so now it's still short enough where I can have my thumb out on the outside there. So I'm gonna touch my thumbs together. And now I'm using a little more inside hand to grab that clay. And it makes that little lump. And I'm gonna bring that lump up the wall. And then real slow, below the rim, you want to let go like that. Because if you keep going through your rim, then you get one of those, which you don't want. And after every pull, I'll do what's called resetting your rim or compressing the rim. So say it's, doing whatever. You just let it glide through your fingers and put your sponge on top to reset that. And now it's too tall to have my thumb hanging out there. So I call it the Italian hand. You hold your hand like you're speaking Italian, going like that. And so I'm like this. My sponge is a little bit underneath it, and I'm gonna run that little lump up the wall. So I'm pushing with the sponge, I'm grabbing a little on the inside. Coming up, and then this is a mistake people make, is they don't realize that they're continuing to push harder and harder and harder and harder, and pretty soon you're paper thin up here. So you really have to like conscientiously think, let off the pressure as you come up toward the top.
Then you can make it without breaking.
I mean, there's people that make it paper thin. There's potters that can just throw eggshells. Christy throws super thin. I can't throw as thin.
Question.
Yes.
Sometimes when I try to pull up,
Louder, Palin.
when I try to pull up, and there's a piece of clay.
Yes.
Come up.
The ring comes off?
Yeah.
So that's from, if you go to do your sponge and you tuck under it and you dig a groove into it, when you start coming up, the top of that groove just comes loose from the clay. So you don't want to be tucking your sponge under. You want to be compressing the clay. So I use like 2 or 3 fingers behind my sponge, so it's like this. It's not like that. So like you don't want to get under it really crazy like that and then start lifting from underneath, because then that ring will come right off.
Okay.
It's more compressing of like a bigger surface area.
So, in other words, is that my angle like too sharp?
Yes, yeah. Like that instead of like that.
Okay.
And then a good trick for going taller and taller is keep your cylinder narrow. Like if it gets wider, it's kind of flopping around. It's hard to keep it going taller. So I'll collar it in by wringing my middle finger and thumb around it. Just bring it in. Come up real slow.
You go that slow?
Like that. So that's a shape that then you can go in. Plus that just thickened the walls by constricting them in. So now, down there.
You're making Palin very nervous.
Now I'm going to take my fingertips and I'm going to push out, and I'll see a little lump on the outside, and I'll grab that lump and move it up the wall. And if your wall starts having a little ripple, that's kind of a good sign because you're getting it thinner, but you don't want to panic. Just keep going up. And then stop there. And then if you have a ripple, you can go in with your rib and do a rib pull to compress that straight again. And it feels like, when you're first doing this, it feels like you're tearing it in half because you're like, there's no way I'm pulling it up any thinner. But like I tell kids at school, just keep doing it until you do tear it in half, and then you'll realize that was your point. So like I could try it again. I could push out a little, grab a little more, and now I am using a little more like wadded up clay to be more specific, where I'm squeezing, or sponge, where I'm squeezing the clay. And then when I get to the top, it's kind of nice to be able to stop and roll your thumb over, because your elbow's getting up and it's hard to control. So if you stop here and roll your thumb over, so now your elbow's down and it's more like you're just throwing a little cup or something. And I can finish the top off with my thumbs touching like that. And then I keep getting my water out of there, even though I'm putting more water on. You don't want to just have a big lake down there. So you could keep doing that over and over again and keep trying to make it taller and taller. And then when you say, okay, I think I've got enough pulled up, then you get your rib. So I'm going to do a rib pull, and I'm going to have this down here. And then now it's real light pressure on the inside.
Still using your fingertips on the inside?
Just my fingertips, yeah. So you can see where the clay is right there. It's kind of on the side of that index finger.
And the rib was on a slight angle rather than straight.
Yeah, the rib is just a little away from me as I come up like that. And you can use this rib to, when you start shaping these things, I'll put the tip down and I'll dig into the bottom, and that'll kind of be the start of my curve. And then I'm going to do a rib pull, but have it angled outward. And so the rib's helping me hold this steady as I bring the shape outward. And
So
then,
your inside hand is exerting pressure.
exactly, yeah. And then roll it back in. That starts my little bit of a curve there.
Question.
Yes.
What if you found out at the lower part too thin and the upper part thicker? I mean, you got extra clay at the top upper part.
Then you're in trouble. Yeah.
So would you push the clay down and to make it thicker at the lower
If
part?
it's really thin down here and thick up here, you grabbed too hard and you tried like squeezing the clay up. And also that what you were talking about, getting that groove, sometimes that'll, if you have a rim of clay around your fingers as you're coming up, you're stretching the clay underneath it. Instead of compressing it and bringing clay up, you're just stretching it thinner and thinner. And that's how that happens. And so there's really no way to take that thick clay and bring it back down. If it's a minor amount, you can kind of do that. But if you're really heavy thick up here and you're thin down here, especially if you're making something tall, it's just.
Kill it.
It was a learning experience.
I need new clay.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring the top in a little, and the way I do this is I make like a heart with my fingers. So I have my middle fingers, or my index fingers at like 3 and 9, and then my thumb and my finger up here, and then very slowly come together. And along that same vein, like if you're doing this, and this rolls out like this, and you get it like that with this hanging out over your fingers, and I start lifting it, it's gonna stretch that same idea. It's gonna stretch that super thin. It's just gonna come apart. So you wanna keep the top always the smallest part as you're collaring these things in.
So you've just dispelled the 3-pull myth. Limit yourself to 3 pulls.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's as many pulls as it takes, but just know your clay's getting more and more tired the more water you're putting on it and the more you're messing with it. And also when you're centering, especially like this bead mix is really smooth, but if you're using something with grog in it or sand, every time you're putting your hands on it, you're losing all the fine clay and you'll feel it getting sandier and sandier until you're just throwing a pile of sand. So you want to get it, make your movements count for something, each time. And if your shoulder is doing this, and you're worried about it caving in when you're, like say I wanted this to be a bottle, then you want to get your rib and start below the shoulder and just kind of roll it forward to make that shoulder more of a teardrop, like that. And then that allows you to go in and you can make this one of those really teeny tiny ones by just going back and forth. You just bring it in, or do a finger pull, and then roll your rim in, your shoulder in, so it's not super sharp like that. Okay, so I'm not going to push this out really wide because we're going to alter this one. So it's the kind of little bit of a bullet shape. But before I do, I'll talk about this. So another way to stretch it out is, we'll go back in here. You can use.
Really freaking pale.
She may need to go outside and get a breath or something.
We haven't started yet. You can use a flexible rib on the inside, and I hold it with my thumb in that hole and my fingers going down the backside. And then I'll hold my rim steady, or you can hold your wrist steady. And Christy, chime in with anything that you think of.
Oh, you're doing great.
Thank you. That was the chime in I was hoping for.
For your next feet, I'd love to see you make a lid out of the single piece.
Oh, the single piece lid, perfect, yeah, okay. Those are fun. Okay, so I was pushing that out from the inside, and then we'll bring this top in.
Are you pushing with the knuckle?
I'm pushing with the knuckle and the thumb and my middle finger at the same time. And the idea is, it's 6 points to keep it round, as opposed to like 4, makes it into like an oval, where 6 kind of keeps it more round. And I've seen people do this where it's like, they claw it like this and they pull it at the same time, which I've never gotten really good at doing that. And then a finger pull is like 1 finger or 2 on the inside, and then this becomes your sponge. And you just give it a little pinch. Come inward and upward. Like that, and then that allows you to get on there and do more this kind of stuff.
Do you start with an image in your mind of the final form, or do you just go with the flow?
Both. Sometimes I'll just sit down and like just let it happen. But sometimes I'll think, oh, I want to make this specific shape, form.
Sometimes the clay wants to be what it wants to be.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times the clay has something in mind. Yeah.
When I first started with Garrett, I believe he said, know what you're gonna make before you start. And he came by and he said, what are you making? And I said, it's a surprise.
That's what makes the assignments in the classes so difficult. It's like, you have to make a closed bottle or something.
Oh, we're not done.
That you're still going, we're all happy.
So how do you get the excess water out of it now that you got a little hole?
While I was doing this, I was taking the water out each time. But if I get to here, and that happens a lot of times, I'll see that there's water in there. I'll either get like a sponge on a stick and go down there and squeeze it out. But if it's really small like this, just a paintbrush, go in there with a paintbrush and just keep kind of mopping it off like that. There was a woman at the art center who was a beginner, and so I did this, and she asked that same question, and I jokingly said, you can use a sponge on a stick, or you can use a straw and slurp it out.
Oh,
And this lady literally said, oh, I have a straw in my car.
You said you first.
I saw a video just recently where the guy took the whole thing off the wheel, turned the pan upside down, and shook the water out of it. And it worked.
That's a dicey proposition there.
That's the one who did 3 pulls only, right?
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
so
sure.
if you want to alter this and do like more of an oval, take some paper, like that, 2 boards. And this is a demo I've been doing for years and years and years. And I always just put the boards right on the clay and squished it, and then I would twist them to get them off. And it would always like mangle the clay, but I just did that all the time. And then a high school kid said,
Of course.
why don't you just put paper between the board and the clay? Okay, so I'm starting to push down low, and then I'm rolling these forward.
That's so much better than what I do. I wait till it's like leather hard and I paddle it.
Yeah, you can do that too.
But then
Wow.
There'll be a lot of those coming out of the studio.
We need more paper.
And then now, like, you can't flip this over and trim a round foot on it. So I just use those sure forms, you know, the little cheese grater. And when it's leather hard, just shape that bottom by hand. They come out fine.
You taught that to Shar, and she taught it to me,
Cool.
and I do it all the time now.
Oh, will you grab that bottle right there? That's kind of an example. With that one, yeah.
so much better than what I do.
You did it? Yeah.
Gonna do it again.
Oh, you don't want to touch it?
It's all we did that.
So that one, I did it this way, and I actually did 4 sides, which I'm gonna show real quick how to make that happen. And then when it was leather hard, I sure formed the bottom, and then I sure formed the sides to get these sharp corners. So you can really like exaggerate your squareness of it like that.
You know, because when I paddle it and it's leather hard, a lot of times I get that, the bottom starts to cave
To buckle
in,
up?
and sometimes I'll get a crack.
Yeah,
You're not gonna get that this
right,
time.
yeah. Do we have a wire?
Thank you very much. Make a lot of those.
I was afraid of doing that when it's wet, because I saw the clay has a memory. It tried to kind of expand it back.
It has a memory, but not such a memory that this is gonna do anything. It's like,
That's right.
It won't go around big
this has more like my memory right now. Do a board or something. Yeah, we'll probably need some more boards to set
I was
them
gonna
up.
say, grab a few.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you have to get them from over there. This is blocked in.
And then there's a cool trick, like see where I kind of smashed that when I took it off? You can do this.
Kiss of clay.
Turn around and look in the mirror. That.
Oh, wow.
Best spot to put it.
You can put it right there. That's
Okay.
fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll do the square one real fast, and then we'll do the bottle. Do you guys do sgraffito? So I can't draw to save my life, but there's a cool sgraffito technique where you print out like a silhouette image of whatever it is you want, and then on your slip that you've laid down, when it's dry to the touch, you just put that image down and trace it with a pencil or a ballpoint pen, and then you peel that paper off, and you can see all the stuff that's telling you where to then sgraffito, and it looks like you can draw, you know, like Picasso, but you're just tracing. It's a great technique to make people think that you're kind of an amazing artist. Christy and I were just in a Halloween art show in Huntington, and I made a bottle like that, and I did the Frankenstein silhouette on one side and the Bride of Frankenstein on the other, and they came out really cool. It's a super fun technique.
So at your school, what kind of cone do you have?
We have a Guile downdraft cone 10 kiln, production kiln.
In a high school.
Yeah, and then we have 2 Scott Fisk kilns, and we have a Raku kiln. And then years ago, Christy and I built a soda kiln at the school.
What's a soda kiln?
The soda kiln, soda firing is you put your pieces in the kiln with either no glaze on them or a glaze on the inside and raw on the outside. And then you heat it up to cone 10, and at cone 10 you introduce some sort of a sodium solution into the kiln, and it's either baking soda or soda ash, and at that temperature, when it goes in the kiln, you can put it in with like a garden sprayer in a liquid form, or we have a big piece of angle iron and we put all the soda ash and baking soda on it and we put it through there and dump it into the kiln, and it volatilizes immediately, and anything that has silica in it, the soda attacks and it glazes it. And so you get these random, really pretty flashes of oranges and reds and different colors all over your pots. It's really pretty.
But
But
your kiln has the soda inside.
you have to have a specific kiln that's going to be just the walls, the ceiling, the shelves, everything's glazed in soda. But the bricks come out really pretty. Okay, so I'm doing my little cylinder again. Bring that clay up. I'm letting off some pressure there. So on this one, before I close it in at the top, I'm going to square it off. So here's my bat pins right there, and here's get that side. So I'm going to go in with my fingertip and push out and come straight up. So now that's going to squirt off the body, and then I'll just redo the rim.
Wow.
And you can turn the rim into whatever. And this is a way that you can really get nice, sharp, squared or rectangle corners. And the way I did the little spiral on the rim of that one, or on the neck, just with a wooden rib. Okay. And you trim some of that away. And then when that's leather hard, shaving that with the Sureform gives you a nice sharp edge. You can score and slip a coil on each corner, and then when you Sureform it, you can really exaggerate that. So it's coming out like in sharp edges. Okay, a one-piece lid. Okay, for this, I'm going to go in and open it flat on the bottom. Pull the walls up. You should write your curse cups. Do I still have the plan with this? Okay. Christy makes these mugs. And she makes the mug, and then on the side of the mug, she uses slip and a slip trailer to write the last 3 letters of a nasty word. And then the handle is the first letter of the word.
Oh, I so want to know.
Probably have pictures, don't you?
Yeah. Please.
So we'll be like at a festival selling stuff, and people come up and they go, "Uck." And then and they stare and then they go, oh.
Then they want it.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Oh, it's a little thing.
You could do it with the capital F as well and just make the line a hand, finger in between the.
Why does it say hit?
Yep. That may be my next project.
Okay, for this, I want straight walls, and then I'm gonna completely close this off. So I'm doing my knuckle thing, and then when I run out of room for my knuckles, I just use my fingertips. And slowly bring that together.
A different thickness on the top of this?
Yes, I left it a little thicker, because I'm not trying to make like a delicate rim, I need enough. And so now, I'm kind of running out of clay to close it off, so I do a little pull, bring up a little more. And then that allows me to get underneath it. So it eventually closes right up. So now it's got air trapped in it, so I can put a little pressure on it. And with this, the lid thing, where your lid is gonna happen, should be on a vertical surface. Like I've tried it on like round surfaces and it's really hard to make it work. So like, you could have your pot come up around and then become vertical and then go back. And right on that vertical spot is where you want it to be, to make your lid. So I need one of those, like a tongue depressor, one of those like Bill's pumpkin tools, or I just need like a popsicle stick or something. Anything squared off.
The cup in the under thing.
We have stir sticks over there, maybe?
Something a little wider, like a
Stir
popsicle.
sticks?
Got the big ones over here.
Here, let's see if.
Oh,
that
that's
works
perfect,
for
yeah,
'em.
yeah, that'll work.
They got it, they got it, thanks.
That'll work, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm
Thank
gonna
you anyway.
take the squared part, and I'm gonna compress the clay in, and I'm not trying to cut clay away, I'm trying to push it in. So I hold it at an angle that, and then just slowly pushing it in. And you wanna go in pretty far, like that. So now, so now you're done. You could trim the bottom up a little bit, and then when it's leather hard, you're gonna take a needle tool and cut right at the base of that little groove right there. And the lid eventually is gonna drop in, but you'll have to take it off and clean up that little opening, and the lid's gonna drop right down. So this and this are gonna match. They're gonna just sit on top of each other.
When you go to cut that, do you want to come in straight or do you want to come in at a slight angle?
Oh, good question. If you come in this way, then you're in trouble. You do wanna just taper it in ever so slightly, like that.
What are you tapering to the bottom of it?
What's that?
You're tapering to the bottom of it.
I'm tapering the bottom so it
Okay.
chisels in this way just ever so
Got it.
slightly, yeah. Yeah, those are super fun.
And then when you cut it with your needle tool, you come in just straight, just horizontal, right?
Yeah, I just come in horizontal like that and shave it off.
Yeah.
And then there's some adjusting needing, like you bore out the inside of that, you smooth out the top of this until it just drops right on. Easy peasy.
And you'd wait till it was leather hard to do those
Yes,
adjustments?
yeah.
So you can use a much smaller flat piece, you don't have to have that much of a lip on it?
Yeah, you don't need that much lip. Like I'll take a tongue depressor, thank you, and I'll cut it flat, and then I'll cut it a little thinner, so it's not quite so wide. Yeah, that'd be pretty extreme that way.
You leave the top like that.
So you can leave the top just like that. You could trim it into a little dome. Like I could have thrown it into more of a dome, compressed it down, and then you could add a handle to it, you know, whatever your design is going to be. Let's see. Do you want to see how to make a mug?
Yes.
So I make mugs. So my mugs, I make mugs out of 1 1/4 pound of clay. I don't know how much this is. You want to get your bottom really nice and flat. Pull your walls up. And so the whole key to a mug is that it feels good in your hand. So you want to get your walls as thin as you possibly can. So when I throw mugs, I use my fingertips instead of a sponge so I can feel the clay. So I get under it, come up. And then really work on that bottom clay so there's no extra down there. And then once you pull that up, you know, they're going to shrink a ton in the kiln. So I always try to like push out for some volume in there. You put your nasty word on the side. Right on the end. Thank you. Okay, so we'll do the colored clay. Where's the bag of stuff?
Fritzy?
Does anyone see the bag of Black Mountain clay, the dark stuff?
On your back.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah. Garrett,
Yes.
why don't we take a 10-minute break?
Like, if it was a month, would anyone even say anything about it? Like, if it was $35 a month, would anyone care at all? Like,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're the elderly, we're on fixed incomes, and
You got it, pretty good.
yes, we
Okay.
do.
So when me and Chrissy travel, everywhere we go, we look for wild clay and interesting gravel and sand and things like that to see what it would do in a cone 10 kiln. So these are some examples of going out and scooping up, like, just if you see something that looks like it's clay, like it's got that kind of cracky surface in it, and you put a little in your hand and spit on it and make it like, and if it's sticky, then it's probably clay. And you can bring it back, and most clays at cone 10 are going to melt. Most like clays in California are going to melt into a glaze at cone 10. So we'll take them and just mix that clay with a little water to make like a slip, and then paint the slip on a piece of bisqueware and put it in the kiln and just see what it does. So these are just wild clays and some water mixed together. Most have iron in them. Like they do really pretty different things.
May I remind you that you don't bring outside clay into the
So you don't want to do it on the outside of anything ever. Because if you put it on the outside, you get that. So that's what you're trying to avoid, I'm sure. Yeah, I've had people bring low fire clay into the studio, and that's bad stuff.
So that's just for fun.
Just for fun, just to see what it does.
Because you cannot reproduce, right?
Well, if you
Go get more of it.
go get more, yeah.
You remember where that was?
He remembers, he's like the Thomas guy.
Oh.
We were up by Mono
Who
Lake.
remembers what that is?
Up by Mono Lake, we dug up some mud and fired it, and it had gold specks all through it. It was like a tea vest with gold specks. It was beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna do the.
So here we have what?
So this is the Black Mountain and the bee mixed together. But for these things, if you want like a marbled clay, you don't want to wedge your clay together because then it gets too mixed and then you just kind of have like a very kind of muddy looking thing. Just take your
Chunks.
black, white, and sandwich them together and pound it into a ball and go with that. Yeah, this is the sharp part.
Yeah.
Giving away Char's secrets.
That's how Char pays the rent.
And you want to find your clay that's the same, like poke around the same dryness or stiffness. If the consistency, thank you. If one is like really soft and one's really stiff, it makes it super hard to center. You're just like,
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
So it'll marble just from like centering it like this.
So when you pound, I think, shot that demo, when you pound these layers clay together, when you try to make a ball, is there a certain way, vertical, horizontal?
I've done it
diagonal?
both ways. I've done it this way and I've done it this way, and I've never been able to tell the difference. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Which is weird. You would think it would make a difference, but it seems to not. So you can kind of see what's happening already.
I told you he was magic. There was just a little bit of arrogance in there.
See?
Piece of cake. Are we too easy to be pleased, thank you, students?
You may want to move here.
He does the same thing with the adult classes at night.
The high school kids, I'm like, hey, did you see that? And I look up and everyone's on their phone.
Oh, no.
Too bad you can't check them at the door.
My granddaughter's school does. The teacher takes the cell phones away from them.
They say we're gonna be doing that in next year.
They
In my
use
class,
their phones for so many things in the class.
yeah, I have them always using their phones to look up reference pictures and stuff like that. And for the most part, my kids are working all the time. They're not.
Well, the good news is that they get their hands dirty.
Their hands are not dirty, they take clay all over their phones like us.
I've taken a phone one time away from a kid. It was a brand new iPhone. I put it in my shirt pocket, and then I'm going around helping people, and I get down to help them, it falls out onto my cement floor. And that's the last time I ever took a phone away from somebody. I remember at the art center, one of the volunteers loaded the glaze kiln, and they thought that it would be very helpful to put wadding in between every post and every shelf, and they used low fire clay. They used Steve's White, so they fused every post and every shelf together. And those kilns are huge over there.
It's just money.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so I've thrown this cylinder up and I'm bringing it in, and my walls are on the thick side. And I'm bringing it in more narrow than I can even get my hand in there. Yeah. And then I'm going to cut away some of this extra at the bottom. And I'm going to just take away this, I'm going to just take the slip off the surface. And then I use my
She's got it.
tool. Oh, thank you.
Scalpel.
Just so he knows he needs you.
Oh, I know. Okay, so I'm undercutting the bottom there. And this is going to be the Jesus spot. So I'm going to make a little mark up here to show me where my faceting is going to stop. So I just put a little bit between my thumbs, and this definitely takes practice. You want to have it on your thumb, so when you slide it up your pot, you can feel the surface of the pot with your thumbs, but you're not digging in really hard, and you're not floating out because it'll just go back and forth. You just kind of gently slide it up. And the wider your thumbs are, the more of your wall you're cutting off. So you want to just kind of gauge so you're taking away about half the wall like that. So I'm going to do one on this side, and then I'll spin it around and show you. But you're taking off like a little slice of bacon, like that. Do one here.
We had a project like this in one of our classes, and we all had to go out and buy cheese cutters.
Oh yeah, that was, yeah. So the reason I call this the Jesus pot is sometimes you do this and you start seeing little faces in the marbling. If you could get one that looks like, Jesus, it'd be worth $1 million. Those people that see in their toast.
Oh, yeah.
But this one we're just kind of getting stripes. Sometimes you really get them, like, depending on how much mixing the clay did, you get them kind of like in little circles and things.
Does it matter cutting up rather than cutting down?
No, I always cut up because I don't want to put downward pressure on the wall, but you could do either one. So depending on how thick your wall is, like I could have done less facets if my walls are thicker. So I just don't want to cut all the way through it. So you could leave it like that and make it into like a little vase, something like that, and have handles or something. But if you want to stretch it out, I'll hold my hand like that, and go in.
You're freaking Palin out again.
Italian hand.
Italian hand, yeah. So just by doing that, it starts twisting the clay from the friction of your hand on it. And then I'll go in with a rib and start stretching it out. And the further you stretch it, the more those are going to twist.
Are you using the flat or the round of the rib right now?
Using the round of the rib like that.
Okay.
And when you came downward with your hand before,
Yeah.
not up.
Yeah, I went down my hand, and then I kind of opened my fingers as they came up to start stretching it out.
So you're not pulling it towards you, you're actually separating your fingers to make the stretch.
That's what I did the first time, but now I'm using the rib.
Okay.
You just keep. It just keeps twisting out.
Magic, isn't it?
Char, did you teach him how to do that?
No.
Char taught me everything I know.
Uh-huh. Wow.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
So how thick do you have it initially?
It was maybe
Half inch?
no, not a half inch. I mean, it was
3/8?
3/8. Yeah, I'll go 3/8. And then it just gets thinner and thinner as you stretch it out.
Wow.
Palin, practice.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
practice this.
Give me a few years.
A lot.
Yeah, so you could, we'll finish the rim. You could like glaze the inside and glaze the rim and leave the outside just raw. And that black clay gets really dark in the high fire. That looks really pretty. You can do a clear glaze on it. You could do a celadon on it.
The clear in here will make the Black Mountain gray.
Yeah, the clear kind of kills it, like kind of takes the life out of it.
With the
That's-
new,
How about the
the new
16?
clear that we have?
I don't know, I haven't tried that.
Okay.
Is there a loop trimming tool? Do you have a loop? You probably have one in your bag. Another thing I've done on these is,
He's got a whole,
He's got a vat of it.
oh, perfect, thank you. Another thing you can do is, like that yellow glaze I was showing you, on white clay, it's a really nice buttery yellow, but on dark clay, it's just straight dark brown. So you would see all your striations and things with something like that. Same with like a Shino, like the carbon trap Shino would show all these different colors. What else?
So if you don't take a flat tool and scrape the, like on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like you just got one color now on the inside.
Yeah, there is some swirling, but not as much as you see on the outside, which is weird. Sometimes that happens. It like turns inside out. And
Exactly, and sometimes it's opposite.
And the inside's not cut.
and the inside's not cut. It's just.
If you scraped that inside top part, do you think you'd see some?
Yeah, probably. Like if I did. There we
But
go.
if you
Yeah.
wanna use it, you're gonna
It's
need
it's just
you
slip
need to
buildup
scrape
on the
it. Yeah,
inside.
you need to scrape it anyway.
Yeah, slip buildup.
What
Cool.
if you leave it leather hard and then you scrape it, would that be too late or?
Leather hard would be ideal. Like I'm doing this soft and it's sticking, you know. When it's leather hard, it really shows off the designs.
He's just answering
Now with that
questions.
clay, I
So-
expect to see that pot
Wait.
chin. I expect to see a pot like that.
He already made a
You
bowl.
do that clay.
That's my next assignment.
Gonna see a lot more wheel use around here.
Good.
Wavy rim.
I was in need of a pouring pitcher if you want.
Yeah, our orange juice is in a container, store container. It's so pretty.
That is so cool.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, just gorgeous.
Anything else?
Well, you said you could stay till 4, right? I noticed on the narrow neck pieces,
A narrow neck one?
you don't worry too much about the water that's going on the inside. As far as the
You definitely want to make sure that water's not in there when it's done. So
He
you
was
do-
sponging along the way.
Yeah, as I was doing it, I was sucking that
How
out.
about a bowl?
A bowl? Yeah. Do one of those double rim bowls?
Yes.
Don't give away my secrets. He's gonna make it look so easy that we're all gonna do it, every one of us.
Yes.
And the whole thing is gone down. It's fine.
Say your bread and butter, double rim bowl. So I'm leaving the bottom a little thicker. So even if you're making a wide shallow bowl, you want to kind of bring it up first instead of trying to pull it outward, because then it's just going to usually flop on you. So I'll get my height out of it. And then I'll take my little rib. There it is. Push that out. This has a good swirl in the middle there. So I kind of feel the outside to see what's happening as I push on the inside. And that's a good question. Like when I'm using a ribbon inside of a bottle, I'll see people doing that and their hands jumping all over it, and it's because the clay's coming around like this, and if the rib is angled toward you, it's gouging on that edge. So you want to have the clay like going off it like that. So you go in and have the clay doing that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of laying it down so the clay isn't gouging into it very much.
And the pressure's coming from inside.
Yeah. Yeah, when I teach beginners to make balls, we do the thumb, suture roll, pull up your walls, and then go like with a sponge or a rib on the inside, and don't even touch the outside, just hold your wrist, and you look at the outside and just push the wall out like that. It's done. And I actually forgot I was going to do a double rim on this, so I left the rim thin. It's not going to work.
You can have your secret.
That's right. So you take something, I'll usually, a thicker rim, I'll use like a throwing stick or a wooden rib or something like that, and just split that rim. And get a little piece of something to go in there and smooth it out. It's really hard to see with that swirl now. So you can kind of stretch them apart. So now you've got two rims, and you could do whatever you'd like with it. You could play around with the outside and leave the inside around, or you could do little things like that.
Have you been taking his night class?
It's like kind of a square. You can take your rib and push one in. So there's just like endless things you could do once it's split. And so you get a trimmed round bottom, and then it turns into this little square, or whatever it is you'd like. So you can
But if you've used the marbleized clay, then you have to trim the inside to be able to see the.
to really be able to see it, yeah. And trimming the inside of bowls is a can of worms.
Or you can use Temaku and on the inside, and then you don't have to trim
Oh,
anything.
there we go, yeah,
And then just do a little bit around the rim like I do,
yep. Yeah.
and leave the rest of it. So it's, cause it's easier, much easier to trim the outside.
Or sometimes a white glaze will show the difference a little bit. You'll see something different going through the two if you want to see something on the inside.
1, 2, 3, 4 white shows a little bit, but the Temaku doesn't show it all.
What if, when it's dry, you use a little bit of sandpaper just to clean off the slip?
Totally, yeah, that would
That,
totally
you know,
work.
maybe show
Yeah.
the different clays.
Well, when I'm trimming, it takes, and I trim pretty dry because otherwise it smears.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
Oh, there's one more.
Okay.
Because we started late, so we'll go a little late. Go to the hole. Have you you seen the top with like the hole going through the middle? You guys done that? Yeah. Done that one?
Maybe.
I've never made it.
Garrett, what are you making? I didn't hear.
I'm gonna do a vase that has a hole going through the center.
Oh, okay.
How many students do you teach a year?
37 in a class, 6 classes.
Jeez.
What's that? I've had a bunch go on to college to do ceramics. I have some that are getting their teaching credentials. That's fun to see kids get inspired and want to keep doing this.
Which school is this again?
Huntington Beach High School. I have one of my alumni is at Alfred right now doing his grad school, which is Alfred's a huge ceramic school back east in New York. What's that?
I never even heard of the school.
Alfred?
Oh, yeah, it's famous.
Alfred?
Huge ceramic.
Yeah.
Tell them what you were gonna be.
Yeah, I was a finance major for my first 3 years of college.
That makes perfect sense.
And you
Yeah.
needed one extra credit? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I took a ceramics class as an elective. I didn't know anything about it. And it was super fun and
Jack to the left brain for the right brain.
oh my God. And I couldn't balance a checkbook to save my life. I have no idea. And I was taking all these classes and just floundering and just getting horrible grades. And then I took the ceramics class, and my dad was paying for school the whole time. So after doing a bunch of those, and then I started taking like drawing classes and photography and stuff. And then so I was like, I need to change my major. This finance stuff is not working, and art is super fun. So my dad said that he would go ahead and keep paying for it, but he said, you'll never get a job. And for
Oh, yeah.
quite a while, he was right for a while. So I had all these odd jobs. One of my odd jobs was substitute teaching. So I substitute taught like in elementary school and junior high and stuff. And I hated the elementary school, and junior high was kind of crazy. But then the high school, like you could kind of reason with those kids and talk to them. and it was fun. Even if I was like subbing like in a math class, it was fun just like being able to help them and stuff. So I kind of thought, oh, maybe I should be a ceramics teacher. So.
At what point did you get your certification?
I went and got my credential through National University, so I wanted to just get it done really fast. So I did my credential through them, and then I did student teaching at Wilson High School in Long Beach. And then right away, I interviewed with Huntington. Somebody told me that they were looking for a teacher, and I just did the worst interview because public speaking is my worst fear in the world. And interviewing, I'm horrible. So I just floundered through this interview, and I walked out. I was so mad at myself. So I thought for sure, they're not going to hire me. And then they called that day and said they were hiring me.
They figured the kids could relate to you.
Yeah.
They couldn't find anyone else.
I actually wrote a note on my application saying, you're going to look at my transcripts and just know that like all those F's on my transcripts were not who I am now. Like I've changed.
They were a different degree.
Yeah. And so the principal you have now is this guy. He's really cool. And he told me, he said when he looks to hire people, instead of looking for A's, he looks for F's because he said that if you were a floundering kid in high school and struggling, then as a teacher you'll relate to those kids.
Yeah.
And you'll be a better teacher, which I think that was definitely me as a kid. So So he said he wants teachers that did horrible in school that, you know, finally found their way.
I love the way he can talk and throw at the same time. It's not just sleeping.
Unlike many of us.
He can walk and talk at the same time.
It's also totally beyond me.
You know, it's so funny, right before you said that, I was gonna say, what am I doing again? I forgot, like, what I was gonna
The
do.
hole in the pot.
The hole in the pot.
I can relate to that too.
Yeah.
I swear I started out making a mug. How did I end up with a vase?
But this is public speaking.
It really is.
In
If I'm-
Florida,
Go ahead. What?
He's
in
distracted
Florida,
by his
they're
work.
hiring people whose credential is being married to a veteran or married to a service member. That qualifies you to be a school teacher in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
They move around too much.
That's an interesting commentary on the mentality in Florida.
Duh.
That's terrifying.
Florida's an interesting place.
Many years ago, I don't remember when, there was a poll, and to see what people feared most of all, death was second to public speaking.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Like sitting behind a wheel, I could speak to a stadium full of people, but if I was just standing up here talking, I would just be heart attack, sweating.
That's the
bullets.
first time I've seen you trim a top
I,
for the whole
Oh,
day.
really?
I used a wire tool, not
Yeah,
a needle tool.
I know, that was very cool.
Yeah, the wire tool I think is way easier. You just do a little in between your fingers and just shave it off and then pluck it right off.
What?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Something else I have to try.
Okay, so we're gonna do the little smash trick again on this guy.
So this is not gonna be a sealed tunnel through it, it's gonna be an actual hole in it?
Don't ask questions, let it
It's
roll.
it's the thing where you could fill it with water, but it has a hole going right through it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is sealed,
Yeah, it's
okay,
sealed, yeah.
got it.
So speaking of memory, Christy bought me the best gift ever. It's the tile that goes on your keychain. Have you seen this? So if you lose your keys, like I lose my keys a dozen times a day easily, because I set them down in my classroom and then I can't find them. So you go to your phone and you press this button
Right.
and your keys ring, but then if you lose your phone, you press a button on your keys and your phone rings.
Next year, that'll be mine next year.
Why you lose your key and?
Yeah, I've done that
It's
too.
not working.
It's not.
Oh, wow.
Battery
I think
down.
the battery is dying on
It's
that
dead.
thing.
Best Buy, and then you can have one in the wallet also.
Yeah, I've got one in my wallet too.
In case you lose your wallet.
My husband does.
Okay,
Okay, so.
I'm going to move to the side here just so I can see that.
Okay, so, I'm gonna start massaging, like, you don't just push through, you have to kind of like massage, because you're stretching the clay, you're not just like breaking through it. So if you kind of do wet fingers and do this,
And they have to be opposite each other.
yeah, but you know, your brain has this thing where without even looking, your brain knows that they're exactly opposite each other. It's like,
Really?
yeah.
So she's not watching, she's not watching.
Maybe his brain, I might not have time to compute.
And so I'm going in big circles and then little, and big and little. And you can kind of look down the middle and you'll see them coming together. And when they touch, kind of massage that together. And then you go all the way through. Just open it up a little bit.
There'll be a lot of those next week here too.
And then the thing that happens, you get a crack in that seam a lot, and that's from kind of not doing this as much and more like being a small hole, and then you're clay splits apart, so you wanna kinda really start big. And then you just kind of like work it like this, and there's a lot of smoothing to go as it gets more leather hard. You can blend that in even more. You just keep blending that extra clay.
press the ring back to the base?
Yeah, I'm just blending that ring back into the vase and blending it in.
So you could do that off-center.
Yes.
They look
create-
even better off
Yeah.
center.
I like that
cool.
idea.
Up in the corner or something.
Yeah.
So cute.
Because using it as a
Then you can make
picture.
little picture out of
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly what I was thinking. That's.
But these are good if you're on horseback, you can put a rope through.
Oh,
the
there you
middle.
go, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us
And then you put some cool little like funky handles up there, or a handle over the top.
It was empty.
You make more. Yeah, if your piece is big enough, you can do like multiple holes inside of it. And then same thing, you use the cheese grater to trim the bottom when it's leather hard. There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think that's about all my back can take right now. Is there anything else that you want to see, discuss, or anything? Any other project ideas? No?
I think it's gonna take us forever to try out all these things.
It's trial and error. Keep plugging away.
And I think we're gonna see a little more clay in the trash cans in the coming week.
Do you guys recycle your clay?
Yeah, no.
We
No.
used to.
Not the
People do it
studio.
individually.
I do my own.
Yeah.
Remember, it's just dirt.
It really is.
Yep.
Laying in.
We just got a big solder mixer for mixing the clay, which is nice. You just put all your slop in there and it just mixes it back up.
Very cool. Well,
Well,
thank you
okay.
very much.
Thank you.